Hello.
Welcome to the Nobody Talks About It podcast.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Karen. And today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people might be thinking, but nobody's really saying out loud.
So let's get started.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. We're back.
We're back.
We made it.
Episode 9.
Woo! The suspense is over.
The suspense is over. Today we have a very special guest. One of our team members, Jon, our graphic designer. We've been talking about him and how we want to feature him as a guest on the podcast. And we were like, Jon, what do you want to talk about? And out of the blue, what does he suggest?
Jon?
Self-confidence.
And I was like, oh, we were like,
That was
we don't have anything to say about that, but okay, let's do it. Let's hear what he has to say. So Jon, thoughts? Why did you want to talk about this tonight?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of good topics to talk about, and I was talking to my nephew about self-confidence, and I was like, oh, this could be a topic. I was trying to think of, I was thinking about it all week, or however long
Wow.
you
All
gave me to
week.
think about it. Yeah, because it's a podcast, It's like this is my first ever experience.
Oh, you're well prepared then.
Well prepared, maybe more than
More
us.
than us.
I mean, you were asking me for ideas for what to talk about, and I was ready with it. I pumped
Yeah.
those questions
Yeah.
out into the WhatsApp group.
We have a lot. We have a list here.
And how old is your nephew, Jon?
He's he's 9, I think.
Wow. Michelle's
that
an
range.
expert with ages and birthdays, so no judgment. Okay, so he's 9. And what was your conversation with him and self-confidence?
Well, he's playing baseball now, and baseball is just a sport where you have to have self-confidence, sometimes even more than you should in order to succeed, because there's so much failure in it.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a mental sport.
It is. It really is. So
Where should we start, Jon? Thoughts?
Well, I'm curious about you guys. Where would you rate your confidence levels
Question
out of
number
10,
1. On a
let's say?
scale of 1 to 10, what is your confidence level?
I think this says a lot about you. So
Wow. I feel
Answer
pressure.
wisely.
I feel
Answer
pressure.
wisely.
Oh my goodness. Answer wisely.
The world is listening.
I think it's situational because sometimes I feel really confident. Sometimes I don't. Overall number, Michelle, should we say it at the same time? Wait, why don't all 3 of us say it at the same time? Counting down to 3.
Okay, but wait. I do agree it's situational. So we're just talking about overall.
Average.
You gotta average it
The
out.
average out. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1. 7.
8.
Oh,
There
Wait,
we
Jon,
go.
what did you say?
I said 8.
Oh, okay. 8. Yeah.
All right, we gotta
All
gotta
right,
take care of Karen.
I said 7. Please take care of me. Please.
We have to debrief on this. Okay. I think I'm a pretty confident person. I do agree with you, Karen. It has to do with situations, but overall, in some situations I'm not as confident, depending on what it is. But overall, I think I'm a pretty confident person. I hope I'm not obnoxious. Am I obnoxious? No.
I mean, not in terms of confidence.
No. Okay.
No, I don't think so. Oh.
No, I'm joking.
No.
Okay, so why didn't you just give yourself a 10?
Well, I feel like if you give yourself a 10 out of 10 confidence, that's a little bit, you don't want to give yourself a 10 out of 10. 8 is as high as I was
Why
willing
don't we
to
want to
go.
give ourselves a 10 out of a 10? Is it because more of we don't like what other people might perceive about us? Or is it like we really don't believe we are a 10 out of a 10?
I don't know, like people, those people that are like walking a certain way and driving that big truck and like just like
Well,
ugh.
They have very little confidence. I think people who drive big trucks, putting it out there, have like no confidence and maybe ain't got nothing down there either. You know what I'm saying? Especially if
They
it's a
say
guy.
that. They do say that. Big trucks means,
That was I think overly confident people are just underconfident people in disguise.
Exactly. Yeah. Overly
I
confident.
truly do.
You think overly confident or under? Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I think overly confident people, when they give you the vibe that they know it all, they're actually quite
Mhm.
annoying.
True. I mean, there are some people that I can think of in my life, thankfully not super close to me, that I think are just kind of, are we allowed to swear in this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just assholes, right? And I
Yeah.
do think some people are just narcissists and are 10 out of 10 confident, even though they maybe shouldn't be or whatever. But
Hmm.
I think most people, if you kind of look under the hood, they're hiding a little bit of whatever self-esteem issues or something.
So overly confident people are just underconfident people in disguise. Why are they acting that way?
Thoughts?
To hide that
To
they're not
convince
confident.
themselves?
I mean, they don't want to show, nobody wants to show you're not confident. I mean, think of yourself in a situation, those situationals. Um, you don't want to show that you're not confident. So you're always going to show that you are. So they just go to the extreme of showing that they are.
Hmm. Okay.
No?
I think if you ask those people, they might say 9 out of 10 confidence, and they wouldn't even necessarily know that they're overcompensating. You
Oh,
know what I
because I
mean?
think they've convinced themselves.
But maybe. I don't know.
Hmm. Okay.
Case by case. But I think to your earlier question about like, or a point about it being situational, I am curious, what situations do you feel not overly confident, more confident, and just like you don't even think about it? In what situations do you feel maybe a little less confident?
Well, I think a big part of my confidence problem comes from my inability to make decisions and feel sure about myself.
Well, is that, or is it the other way around?
All right, you got to word that for me.
You said your
Wow.
inability to make decisions is causes your lack of confidence, or is it that a lack of confidence causes an inability? Can I speak? An
This is going to be like
inability
a
To make
therapy
therapy?
session.
decisions.
Yeah.
Oh, free therapy.
Whoa.
Okay. All
Therapy
right.
session. Well,
Um,
That's
I don't know,
I've
Karen.
heard,
I can't make decisions either. I mean, well, I'm indecisive. I flip flop between decisions. If you ask me which shirt, pink or red, or do you want to do this, I'm always like, I don't know. I say one thing, but then I'm not really sure about another. But I don't know if that
same.
has nothing to do with confidence. It's just I can't make a decision because I'm afraid that what about if I wanted the other one more later.
Yeah, and I think it's probably one of those things where it's like chicken or the egg. They're both true, kind of at the same time, right?
yes.
Yeah.
But I do think that some people who have the ability to know what they want, to go after it, because, we are like, oh, maybe I want this or maybe I want this, but we don't do anything about it. They have more of a sense of direction, which I think is directly linked to confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Being
I think
So,
assertive. Yeah.
you both seem to have a lot of social confidence. Would you say that's accurate?
we're just faking it on the podcast, honestly.
No, but like at work, I worked with both of you, and both of you are very like people
Even
walk in a
me,
room and you're
John,
just like,
even me, really. I don't think I would say that about myself. And it's not about confidence. I don't think I'm doing the podcast, yeah, but like I don't think I'm very social.
I think if you're
well, I
in the group with people you are, yes. Maybe
If
with
I
people
know
and
you don't,
you.
yeah, with people you don't know or aren't as friendly with, you're not.
No, but I am
yeah,
confident. I wouldn't say, but okay, so I'm not socially confident because I don't feel secure if I go to a large group party, I don't enjoy those things. And I don't feel confident in there, like making small talk and talking to people about different, like chit chat, the little chit chat that you do. Like,
See, and yeah, I feel okay with that, and I feel okay to do that at work. But half the time, the way I'm acting is not really reflective of how I'm feeling inside. I don't know. I was just saying that today. Like, I feel like shit. And here I am at work, like smiling, appearing confident, but I don't feel confident about anything in my life.
Yeah.
but aren't you
Fake it
just,
till you make it, kind of.
What?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Like, does everyone fake it?
I think you have to some extent. Like nobody at work wants you to, when they say, "How are you?" Today I asked somebody, "How are you?" And then she said, "Exhausted." And I was like, "Oh, well, God damn it. I don't want to like talk to you about how
okay,
you
but
are."
that was another podcast. That question is not like a question to answer.
Yeah,
I do that just to throw people off. Actually, I'm
right.
terrible.
I did that the past 2 days with our boss, Kyle.
Like, how are
And I
you?
was
Yeah,
like,
but
do you
Terrible.
that's
want, I was like, do you want to actually keep asking? Because I'm telling you honestly how I am. He's like, no, and tomorrow I'm just going to ask you, tell me something positive.
there you go. I like that. Yeah. There are also those people who are like overly positive, but that's a whole nother, I think, a whole nother podcast topic, like toxic positivity.
They're
That
Oh,
annoying.
also
I
drives me
read
Yeah.
that book.
nuts.
Did you read that one? That was a good one.
No, I didn't
Gotta,
know there was a book.
yeah, it's called Toxic Positivity.
That makes sense. Maybe that's
Yeah,
where I got the term.
yeah. Okay. Well,
Well, I'm curious. I had a question that I thought of for you guys
oh
because
gosh.
I have so it's connected to an experience that I have too, where you're putting out this podcast to a bunch of people, or possibly in
Is
this
anybody
weird,
listening?
hopefully, right? It's this weird sort of back and forth where like you want people to listen to it, but maybe the more people that listen, you feel like, oh, there's like more pressure to, or you feel like more people are, I don't know. How do you feel about it, confidence wise?
How confident do we feel in our podcast?
I guess. So, okay, so I can tell a little story if you want.
All right, story
Story
time.
time.
Okay, so there's something you don't know about me, which I
Oh,
hold
a
Wow.
close to
big
my
reveal.
chest.
Music. Cue the
Yeah.
music.
Speaking of music, when I was in college, a friend of mine and I made a couple of music albums,
Oh,
and
Oh.
it was really fun making it, the first one especially. But then we put it out, and it got like, I don't know, each we put it on Facebook and we put it on, we were like spreading it all around. But then it started to feel like I wanted people to listen to it. We thought like, oh, maybe we'll become like the next college dorm room band kind of thing. And we got like a couple thousand views on the songs and stuff. It was cool. But at the same time, I started to like feel very self-conscious about it because we were putting it out and it was being judged. And I felt like, oh, if I go to this group of people and hang out with this group of people, are they like secretly talking about it? Which they probably nobody cared, right? But I felt like I wanted people to listen, and I was constantly checking the numbers. Like Michelle, when you said I'm
Michelle.
obsessed with
Oh.
the stats,
Yeah,
I was like,
obsessed
I
with
know that
those.
feeling. I know that feeling because I would obsess over it, and I would look at the numbers on SoundCloud and try to see like, oh, okay, this song is doing well, but like,
And
oh,
did
I
it
don't really.
affect your confidence if you didn't have good numbers?
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah, especially if it was a song that like I wrote and mostly produced, I would be like, oh shit.
Wow. Can you
Wow.
send us the link?
Yeah, there is one music video out there too.
Wow. I picture you like with a mullet or something. Like, you have a mullet going on. Wow. Okay.
I like that. I'm not going to
Interesting.
refute that, but also we were from Connecticut, so
Okay.
Yeah.
consider that. We also might
Um,
have been wearing khaki shorts.
Well, I think I can agree with you. Like when you put something out there, um, being judged, that yes, because sometimes, well, it's a lot of people that, thank you, a lot of people at work listen to us, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, so when you say something like if, when I said like, what's the point of marriage or are kids overrated or things like that, yeah, sometimes I think people might judge me, but I don't think it affects my confidence because at the same time, I get the affirmations from other people saying, like, oh, I really enjoyed the podcast and, that made me think about it. Or I have like a 10-minute conversation with somebody in the hallway because they heard the podcast and they thought it was interesting and they agreed with me or they wanted to share something. So, I mean, it goes both ways, but I wouldn't say that personally it affects my confidence, but I do worry about like how people look at me and judge me on that.
I agree with that. I don't think it affects my confidence, but I do want people to like us. I want to be liked.
Yeah,
Doesn't everyone want to be liked? It's the same thing. You post a photo and you want people to, you're putting something out there and you're like, oh, I want people to like it.
I know. So yeah, that's what I realized with the music was like I have to just make stuff that I like, and then if people like it, that's great. But
Right,
ultimately, I just want to like
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
So, what are situations where you guys don't feel confident? So, for me, it's like if I have to make a big life decision, even if I kind of know what I should be doing, I can't do it because I'm so scared of making the wrong decision. But I think on the outside, I mean, you know me, and I think most people that know me on the outside would be like, oh, wow, yeah, no, she's confident, she's social, she's this, she's that. But in my mind, like, my mind just never stops analyzing everything I'm doing.
John, where do you lack confidence? The guest, you go
Us,
first.
us 8 out of 10ers. We're like, can you go first so I can think of something?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could say like social situations, like you said,
Yes.
Michelle, where it's
Uh-huh.
like, I don't really know everybody, but I wouldn't say that I'm like not confident. It's like a little uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
who's not uncomfortable? I don't have social anxiety or anything.
No.
Um, where am I unconfident, or where ooh, do I sound totally conceited with like,
Obnoxious. Yeah.
yeah,
John's a 10. John's a 10.
no, no, I'm not.
I don't know. That's a
No, I'm
hard
not.
question. I'm right there with John. Where do I lack confidence?
I mean, because you didn't even give yourselves nines. Like you went down to eight.
Yeah, but that was mostly out of politeness.
Oh, okay. So he thinks he's a nine.
What about you, Michelle? I
Well,
admitted
it
it.
goes back to what I say. I mean, you don't want to say a 10 because you don't know like how people are going to judge you or think about you. I don't think I'm a 10. No, I don't think I'm a 10, but
No, no, no.
I'm pretty high in my confidence. And I told Karen, like when she mentioned self-confidence or you mentioned self-confidence, I was like, well, being self-confident, at least for me, I feel like is also intimidating. Like people are intimidated by a self-confident person. And I feel like, and then Karen's like, yes, you are intimidating, or was it, I don't know, somebody was
Both of
like,
us.
Well, so Michelle, the first thing you ever said to me, maybe it wasn't the first thing, but we were in the teacher's lounge, and you said, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said, "Oh, I live in Casco Viejo." And you said, "Why would you live there?" And I was like, "Oh, nice to meet you."
That was the
And
first thing I said to you.
I don't know, it was
Wow.
one of the first five, but
Wow.
but
Well, it's
because
true.
I have self-confidence, I was just like, "Oh, she doesn't mean it." I didn't think that you were like judging where I lived, even though I think you were.
No, no.
I was more just like, oh, that's a funny thing to say. And then we got to know each other super well, and I really like you.
Meanwhile,
Well,
I analyze every conversation with Michelle. So
what?
I'm joking.
Oh.
What?
No, 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 no.
Listen back minute by minute to every podcast.
Wait, okay. Well, wait, Michelle, did you want to say something? Because I actually have a question for both of you
No,
again.
no, I'm good. That was good. I just wanted to
Okay,
comment on
so
that.
I clearly at a 7 need to build my confidence. What makes you confident? Where do you get your confidence from?
Great question. Great question, John. Um, I can answer that question. I think upon reflection, I think with self-confidence, it's like I think you are, at least for me, I think it's because you're learning. You're always learning and you're always wanting to know more. And so you're always wanting, or me, always wanting to improve or get better or do something better than what I'm already doing. So whether it be reading a book or trying something new, or I don't know anything about that, let me find something out about that. I think just the fact that I'm always exploring and wanting to learn, that helps me build confidence. Would you agree that has something to do with it or no? Karen's like, no.
Karen's shaking her head now.
So like
I
because you want to learn more, you become more confident.
Well, yeah, I explore, I learn, I get to know more things. And I try new things and I
But that's
always
like, sorry, that's like intelligence confidence, right? So you have this level of confidence when it comes to like intelligence and academic things, right? Worldly things. But
right.
well,
that's not
I
connected to like feeling confident about how you look or like other things you do,
mm,
right?
that's interesting. I feel like I don't know, Michelle, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like what you're saying is you give yourself the benefit of the doubt, kind of. If you and I think I do. I try to do that for myself and other people too, but definitely for myself, where if I screw something up, I'll like beat myself up about it for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
I think everybody does that. But then I'll be like, okay, I screwed that up. I'm human. Everybody does that. I can move on and learn from that.
Right.
How do you move on? Like I'm still upset about things I did when I was like 18.
I think what Michelle said, see it that way.
Yeah. It's like you reflect on what it is that went down, what you didn't like, and how you can improve for the next time. So if you're in a similar situation, you think about like, hey, this already happened to me. How am I going to behave or do things differently? I don't
Okay,
know.
so one way to improve your confidence is self-reflection. That's what you're saying.
Well, I think self-reflection can
Be a part
be
of it.
a good thing, but it can, I mean, it depends how you're self-reflecting. I think you have to give yourself grace and say, I screwed up. I'm gonna be upset about that because that's normal, but then I'm going to let myself move on from that by seeing it as like a moment of learning. And maybe that, I don't know, it feels kind of corny, but it's true.
Okay. All right. All
Right. So
right. So,
I'll give you an example. Parenting. I have two children. Everybody knows I have two children. Don't know how old they are, but I have two children. Um, I didn't feel confident as a parent at one point. So what did I do? I went and started reading books. Like I didn't like the way I was disciplining my children because I felt like I was hitting them all the time. I went and got a book. I tried something out and it worked. And then because of that, that just helps you build your confidence because you didn't know how to do something, you looked into it, you figured it out, and then you improved yourself, and then it worked out, and then the fact that it worked out, you're building your own confidence just doing that.
gotcha. Okay, so that's what
Does
I
that
mean.
make sense? Did I even
Yes, yes.
articulate that
I
well?
no, now I got it about like, yes, how getting knowledge about areas maybe you're like, yeah, I don't know what to do about this, and reading about it can be helpful. But what if we're talking about something with how you look? What if you're like not, I don't know. Sometimes I go out and I'm like, wow, I look good. And sometimes I'm like, oof, how do you get that? Like I get a lot of my confidence from like compliments because I'm a words of affirmation person, but I can't live for that. Well, I guess I need therapy more. Lots of pauses after I'm asking these
Well, no,
questions.
because they're thought-provoking questions, and um, from what was your question about
Well,
beauty,
are you both
looks?
confident? I'm just curious. Like, are you both confident in how you look?
Overall, yes. I mean, sometimes I look like shit, and I know when I look like shit, and I say I look like shit. But
Yeah.
overall, I think I'm not ugly.
And you just have always had that
Whatever ugly
confidence.
is, ugly is, subjective, of course.
But
Yeah,
you
I might
guys,
be
you've
ugly.
you've always had that confidence about your look. Like, where does that come from? Where did that come from? You just like look in the mirror and you're like, okay.
It's a good question. I don't, I mean, I do remember the day I got my braces off. It was December 21st, 2000. I just know it was December 21st. I don't remember the year, but uh, I do remember my confidence like skyrocketing when I got those braces off, and I got my first girlfriend like a month later, and it was totally that was just like 100%. I felt more confident because I felt like I looked better because I wasn't getting like corn stuck in my teeth.
Well, now that's interesting. Not about the corn, but I think my son gets crap stuck in his braces too. Okay, so
Yeah,
for
it's
you, it was getting your braces off and getting your girlfriend, and then you were like, "Bing, I'm hot.
And and
I'm
and
gonna
what if
get
your
the
girlfriend
girls."
did that girlfriend dump you or did you dump her?
oh, that's a whole nother story. I didn't know
Well,
how to end
Oh,
it.
that's a good
I was
topic.
immature. I was
exactly,
immature.
exactly. So what if she had dumped you?
Well,
Wouldn't
I
that
did
have
get dumped
affected
next. I did get dumped the next year. So with the first one, I just stopped texting her back. Like, how horrible is that? I
one of
know.
those guys?
I gotta
Yeah.
ask you
I had
guys,
to learn.
how often have you been dumped?
Uh,
Ooh, are you in general, are you the dumper or are you the dumpy or whatever it is?
I
Which one weighs more?
have to think
Dumper
about
for
it.
sure.
You're the
But I give them
dumper.
a long time and a lot of chances, so they deserve it. No.
Uh-huh. John?
I think, well, I've had four long-term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Not long-term. I mean, nothing compares to what I have now. But
Mm-hmm.
my previous girlfriends, I did sort of dumped the first one by not responding, which was, I admit, very bad.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
But that was also the early days of texting. I mean, I was texting on a flip phone, so it wasn't like we were texting all day and I wasn't responding. I would get like one text every, 2 days and just not respond. Um, and then I got dumped the next two times.
Oh,
I was the dumpy. And
okay.
the second one really got me because I thought I was going to become the captain of the cross country team, and I didn't get it, which was disappointing. And I didn't deserve it in hindsight, but I didn't get it. And then I went up to my brother to visit my brother in Boston that night with my mom, and we were out to dinner, and I got a text on my flip phone from my then girlfriend that said, I think we should break up. So she broke up with me over text. And I remember I stood up in the restaurant and my legs hit the table. So
Mhm.
all the silverware went like clink, clink, clink. So it was really embarrassing.
Wow.
And I started crying right there and just walked out of the restaurant. Sad. But I got over that I mean, it took me 2 days
Okay.
of just
Okay.
like
So
being really upset.
okay, so it didn't seem like it impacted your confidence that much. How do you get over things that hurt you and impact your confidence? Like, how did you get over that?
I don't know. I don't really remember. The
Strategies,
narrative.
people. I need strategies.
Strategies.
Well,
Well,
there are things we all go through things, breakups, people not treating us correctly, people making us feel bad or awkward or insecure. How do you let that roll off your back? Michelle sent me this whole pep up voice
oh,
message last
yes.
week that I'm like listening to every day on repeat about turning 40 and how 40 is the age that you just start to not care what
Yes.
people think.
I agree with that. That's why I sent the message. I think that's one of the things, one of the benefits of getting older. First of all, we have to change that, but that's another podcast. But definitely at the age of 40 was when I was like, wow, I'm pretty. Wow, I look great. I'm like, wow, I could be like a cougar. Hello. But think it's just like when you get older, your confidence goes up as well. And 50, when you hit 50, because I'm 50, it's even more. So I think with age, with time, that could be one answer. You do get more confidence. Obviously, when I was in my teens in high school, middle school, not confident at all, right? And then your 20s and 30s, but I think definitely age gets you more confidence. So you're just going to have to wait it out, Karen. That's why I say 40 is fabulous.
All right, I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
All right, so let's take a minute to talk about our takeaways so far.
all
Michelle?
right. Oh, me. Thank you. Well, if you want to develop your self-confidence, things that you can do. One, be self-reflective. 2, be willing to learn. That's all I got.
Well, John also said John talked about like accepting and giving yourself grace for when you make mistakes. But my question is this. Okay. So we seem to have ways that you can feel confident if it's like maybe an area you don't know much about. Okay, you read about it, you learn about it, you're a new parent. Okay, I'm going to start to feel more confident by outside knowledge I'm exposing myself to. But then let's say you make a mistake and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to reflect, I'm going to accept, I'm going to give myself grace. But what if it's just general? Like you didn't make a mistake, you're not doing something new, but you're just like not confident in yourself. What do you do in situations like that?
Yeah, I guess I do get that sort of confidence from like or just a baseline of confidence from the like people around me that I know love me. I think at the end of the day, that's what I fall back on. Is like, okay, I have no matter how old I get, if I like lose all my hair, if whatever happens, I have like a group of people that I can rely on. And like that is my foundation, sort of.
Oh, oh, you can't beat that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I to me that's the key for me at least. I think like, okay, I know that there are people who will love me regardless, more or less.
Okay. I like that. Yes, yes, I would agree with that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to change, right? Like you've got your sister Karen, Michelle, you've got your people, you've got your family, and I just know about your sister Karen because I listened to that episode,
I
but
have
I'm
two.
sure
I
there
have
are
two.
others.
I have two
Okay,
sisters.
both
Better mention
sisters,
them both or they'll get upset. Yeah.
of course, both are great. Yeah, I would want to know where people, where your listeners get their confidence from and what they would rate themselves. Is there anyone willing to give themselves a 10 out of 10?
And if you do, are you the obnoxious one?
Leave it in the
Right.
comments. And also tips. What tips do you have for improving self-confidence?
Or Michelle and I secretly 10 out of 10s and we're just afraid to admit
Oh, there you go. Ooh, music. Cue the music.
it.
Let us know. Thank you, John, for your time.
This was
Thanks for having me
fun.
on.
All
And
right. Go
thank
ahead, Mish.
you. Oh, what am I supposed to self-reflect? Are we reflecting or what are we doing here?
If it'll help give us confidence, maybe.
Well, actually, before we go, Karen, what about you? How
Oh,
do you
Yeah.
think, how do you think you can improve your self-confidence? Do you think any of these tips that John and I gave you can help you?
it's weird. I feel like I don't know. That's why I've been asking you all episode. What can I do?
Well, John made a good point. I mean, now we're going back, but he was like, he gets his confidence from who he has around him,
Hmm.
right? So I think that is a big thing because you're talking also how you get outside, like you enjoy outside. I mean, you get your
Hmm.
confidence from the outside. So I don't know.
And happiness. I think the more happy I am in my life and my surroundings and
Hmm.
what I'm doing, I feel more confident. Like, yes, I'm doing everything right. And I think life, like we have our ups, we have our downs, we have our moments like, what the hell am I doing? Oh, yeah, I'm living the life. It's very up and down. And I think in the moments that I'm feeling good, I feel confident about every decision I've made up until that point. And then something bad happens, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Hmm.
So I think trying to be more stable with that and realizing like that's the road that we take, right?
Yeah.
I
Well
like,
said.
okay,
On
great.
that note.
Well, you both look great in case you need that for your confidence.
Oh,
Hi, thank you, John. Oh,
oh,
we're gonna have John on more often. Oh, wow.
wow. Wow.
All right.
Oh
Well,
All
boy.
thank
right.
you, John. This was fun.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I
Bye-bye.
loved chatting with you
Bye.
guys.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. Congratulations and thanks for listening.
We really appreciate it.
You made it to the end.
There we go. Remember to follow our show and comment below.
And if you really liked us,
Connect with us on social media at the Nobody Talks About It podcast.
until next time.
Bye.